lot of people here, so I may mention I have 4 sort of commitment or responsibility. Number 1, I consider I am just one human being on this planet. So now even scientists say basic human nature is more compassionate because we are a social animal. Any social animal, they are, as I briefly mentioned, their sort of life very much depend on the community. So therefore, basic human nature is more compassionate. Now that's some scientists now thinking that way. So that should be basis we can develop compassionate human being through education. So these days I expressing in kindergarten level, the teaching or education how to take care of your physical health. So same time, we should include hygiene of emotion, hygiene of physical, hygiene of emotion. So children also, do you prefer a smile or like this kind of face? So naturally, smile, indication or expression of loving kindness. So when I was young, like you, when my teacher showing a little bit of sort of serious face, I don't like. When my teacher, make some jokes and some sort of smile, then I do not feel tiredness. If more serious face, then I watch as soon as finish that lesson, I feel much happier. I prefer like that. So therefore, young children, since we love smile, warm-heartedness, so now education should include about hygiene of emotion and how to create happy mind, peaceful mind. So my number 1 commitment is try to create 7 billion human beings, more compassionate human beings. For individual physical health also, now these days some scientists also now mention peace of mind, very important for healthy body and because of longevity, long life. So therefore, now not talking about next life, not talking about Buddha or God or heaven, simply how to be happier human being, human society. So through education, we should include education about our emotion, how to tackle anger, fear, jealousy. These emotions are destroyer of peace of mind and eventually also destroy our health. Therefore, in our education should include more, the explanation, more more education about our emotion, about our mind. In that respect, in this country, very, very rich material about mind, emotion. Usually I describe something like map of emotion. Once we fully sort of understand or knowledge, then much easier to tackle these emotions as a secular way. So these things mentioned in religious text. Now here you see, according to my own sort of little experience, a lot of explanation in these Buddhist texts about psychology. But then this should consider as an academic subject, not a religious subject, according to Indian tradition, secular way. So, number one, my commitment is try to promote compassionate mind or loving kindness, loving kindness through education in the whole world. As I am one person out of 7 billion human beings, wherever I go, I always talk these things. Number one. Number two, my commitment is try to promote religious harmony, as I mentioned earlier. I have full sort of confidence. Religious harmony is very possible. This country, as I mentioned earlier, all world religious traditions live together. And mutual respect. And in some cases, mutual learning. I often use mentioning the Parsi community in Bombay, less than 100,000. They are Zoroastrian. They used to come from outside India and then settled in Bombay. They carry some fire puja or something. In big city, over a million, I think several million Christian, Hindu, Muslim, less than 100,000 population, Parsi, very happily, no fear. So, that's one example, this country. I think religious harmony is truly exist over 1,000 years. So, I have full sort of conviction religious harmony is very possible. So my number two commitment, wherever I go, I always try to share with people all religion, in spite different philosophy, different teacher at different time, but all carry message of love, and with that forgiveness, tolerance, self-discipline. So all major religion, in spite different philosophy, the main message is same. Therefore, and that also is logically, all these religion, except you see according to the creator, then different. Otherwise, all these religion, human created. So human naturally, human good quality, best quality is human love. So all religion, which essentially created by human being, they carry the concept of loving kindness, taking care of other, not harming other. So that all religion of human being carry this message. And then, you see, mentioned in different philosophy, it is necessary according different people, different Methodist position, even if in different geography, different climate, you need different way of approach. The goal, aim is same, loving kindness, compassion, like that. So religious harmony, very possible. Otherwise, it is just India's neighbor, Afghanistan, and then the Arab world, in the name of religion, killing each other. Unthinkable, really. So therefore, the religious harmony, very important. So it is possible to create religious harmony. India is the example. Okay. Then, number 3 commitment, I am Tibetan. Tibetan people trust me. So I have moral responsibility to think about their future. So political matter, now already I retired since 2001. I completely retired from political responsibility. Then we already have elected political leadership. Then, regarding Tibet, ecology. Now global warming really become more serious. So many experts about ecology, they really warning us. So Tibet case, according to some Indian ecologists, they say the Tibet high altitude and dry climate. So, like ecology, these once damaged, it take longer time to recover. So, ecology condition in Tibet is quite delicate. So, I often use expressing the concerned people there, and particularly Chinese, including Chinese business people. See, exploitation about the nature resources there. This should take care. Yes, it is worthwhile to use nature resources, but forest, these things, they should pay more attention. This is my regarding Tibet. And then most important is Tibetan knowledge. From childhood, I study these texts which originally translated from Sanskrit. So, when I was like you, I quite lazy. Then you see, when you see, I the counting. Now, when holiday come, so the next day holiday, then today I feel very happy. I think you also have same feeling, isn't it? So, I'm quite lazy, but those subjects which I learned, they also the traditional way to study these things. Firstly, root text, learn by heart, memorize. Few hundred pages, memorize. Then explain each word according commentary, mainly Indian masters' commentary. Then we extensively use debate, because Shantarakshita, who are introducing Buddhism in Tibet in 8th century, he himself, great logician. So therefore, you see, he introduced Buddha Dharma in Tibet according Nalanda tradition, his style. Logical approach is very essential. So now the Tibetan, also the knowledge, not only just prayer or religious belief, religious or ritual, but logic and philosophy. The Nalanda philosophy now very much, you see, the similar quantum physics. Quantum physics half. The Nalanda sort of also now quantum physicists, you see, they already develop things outside, external things does not exist as appears. If you analyze, nothing you can find. So quite similar, the Chitta Mantra's concept, external thing does not exist, only mental creation, like that, mental projection. And then, so quantum physicists, they say there is huge gap, appearance and reality. The reality does not exist as appears. This is exactly the Nalanda philosopher, exactly mentioned these things. So I want to share with young brothers, sisters, when I listen quantum physicists, naturally, I, with respect and humbly, listen their explanation. Meantime, in my mind, I feel I know much better. Because we study years about the Nalanda tradition, Chitta Mantra philosophy, as well as Madhyamaka philosophy. Within Madhyamaka, there are some Madhyamaka philosopher also, you see, accept the Chitta Mantras, mind-only school thought. And then the Prasankika, Madhyamaka, wonderful. Now, the similar quantum physics, nothing exists as appears. So, mention these things because our destructive emotion, very much based on appearances. You convince things exist as appears, and some nice thing, attachment, some negative thing, anger. So now some student in China about quantum physics, now they express, so once they believe nothing exists as appears, that automatically reduce the grasping something independent existence there. That's the basis of all these negative emotion. So therefore, the quantum physics, not only external thing, but observer also, you see, through centuries investigation, where is I? That's observer. So there is no independent I. Now here, differences, Atma theory and Anatma theory, like that. So therefore, Tibetan tradition, some Chinese professors who notice these things, they express Tibetan Buddhism is true lineage of a Nalanda tradition, and that tradition is very scientific religion. Some Chinese professors, you see, express that way. So therefore, the Tibetan knowledge, I think very useful to preserve. So it can make, I think, certain contribution regarding our sort of knowledge about inner world. Then that's mainly regarding to Tibet, the Kasota. And then political matter, as I mentioned earlier already, we have all elected political leadership. And since 74, according Pandit Nehru's advice, and also according to our own experience, then we are not seeking independence or separation from China. We very much sort of willing to remain within the People's Republic of China. And then important is Tibetan knowledge must preserve, and including Tibetan language should be preserved. And when we say Tibet, in 1914, similar convention, we say, make distinction, inner Tibet, outer Tibet. So independence for Tibet, outer Tibet. Inner Tibet, Amdo, Kham, these are, they consider inner Tibet as a part of China. So if we only concern outer Tibet, then around less than 2 millions. Then including the outer Tibet, inner Tibet, Kham, Amdo, then altogether about 6 to 7 millions. So we are sort of concerned all those Tibetan, which Chinese constitution recognizes as a Tibetan sort of race, should have same right to preserve their 1,000-year-old knowledge and including that language. So that's political field. So we are not seeking independence, but we should preserve Tibetan ecology and rich Tibetan culture. Now today, I think ancient Nalanda knowledge, now in India, you see, all these knowledge disappear. So only among Tibetan, we still kept all these Nalanda thought, Nalanda knowledge about psychology, about logic, about, you see, these like quantum physics, these things, we still, in our tradition, very much alive and also very useful to tackle our emotion. So these knowledge, in order to keep peace of mind, not just a blind faith, but through analytical meditation. What's the value of anger? What's the value of selfish? Ultimately, all these negative emotions related with selfish. So the great master like Shantadeva, they are writing Kasa, Shinju Kasa.
A guide to the Bodhisattva way of life.
Really wonderful to tackle self-centered attitude and create altruism. So thinking other actually benefit yourself maximum way. So since many years I use the word we are selfish as a human being. Whole evolution come with take care oneself, including animals. But now since we have this human brain, so our selfish should be wise selfish rather than foolish selfish. So wise selfish means since we are social animal, our individual life depends on the community. So take care maximum way about others' well-being. That's the best way to fulfill your selfish sort of interest, like that. So, firstly, Shanta Rakshita introduced Buddha Dharma in Tibet in 8th century, and he himself logician, so they all sort of approach anything. So all the first reaction is why. The sort of question mark, why? Even Buddha's own word, why he taught that. So some Nalendra master rejected some Buddha's own teaching. If you accept this literally, it goes against reason. So we must reject. Like Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti, these clearly mentioned that. So Buddha himself, I think, allowed us, all my follower, monks, scholars, should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment. So many Nalendra masters exactly follow that way. So, as I mentioned earlier, Nalendra tradition, Buddhist tradition, non-tradition, much sort of emphasis on logical approach. So, Buddhism as Chinese, as I mentioned earlier, described as a scientific religion. And my own experience, around, I think about 40 years, I have serious discussion with modern scientists. Eventually, it become very useful to mutual learning. We also learn something from scientific sort of finding. And then they also, very much appreciate about our knowledge, about mind, about how to tackle these destructive emotions like that. So that's regarding Tibet. And then my latest commitment is try to revival of ancient Indian knowledge about ahimsa, karuna, and the vipassana, analytical meditation. This is India's tradition. Now, modern India, I think, not sufficient to pay attention about this knowledge. Your modern Indian very much sort of follow the materialistic education. Now, time come, you should pay more attention about ancient Indian knowledge, about mind, about emotion. Then, logically, India is the only nation who can combine modern education that oriented about material value and science and technology, very useful. And then, meantime, ancient Indian knowledge tackle our mind to build inner strength or inner value. So only India can combine ancient yoga knowledge and modern knowledge combine. Modern knowledge bring us physical comfort. Ancient Indian knowledge bring us mental comfort. That's, I think, whether believer or non-believer, a secular way. So I usually make distinction. These, I think I already mentioned, these knowledge we should consider as an academic knowledge, not religious knowledge, although come from religious text. But we should consider these are secular way and about the academic subject. So I'm trying to revival of ancient Indian knowledge. India, the young Indian, now you should pay more attention about ancient Indian knowledge, about mind, or ahimsa, or karuna, these things. The young Indian now should pay more attention. and study. So, the secular education, you should include education about mind, as I mentioned earlier, from childhood, hygiene of emotion, these things. So that's why the latest my commitment. I really found number of Indian scholars, they really showing interest about my commitment, revival of these ancient Indian knowledge and combine ancient knowledge, modern knowledge, like that. Then India can make a significant contribution regarding world peace, peace through inner peace, like that.